welcome to my review of Batman Season 1. Not to be confused with Batman, the 2002 movie starring all Pats. No, this is the cartoon that started in 2004, which was developed by Michael Golden, Marcus McNaught, Dan Cabzini, and produced by Warner Bros. I'm sorry if I butcher any names during that process. It aired on the Kids WB on September 11, 2004, and Cartoon Network on April 2nd, 2005. But only the first two seasons aired on Cartoon Network out of 5 seasons that were produced. Jeff Matsuda, who also worked on Jackie Chan Adventures, you can definitely tell because he worked as the art director and character designer. You can very tell the styles are the same. I feel like this show is very much all they talk about these days, to be like, oh well, this is the reason why later on in the DCAU they couldn't use Batman villains because they didn't want to confuse continuity with this show. So it's like, we gotta keep everything separate and all that jazz. But like, does it hold up? 20 years later, does this show hold up? And Jesus, I just said because I remember watching this on Cartoon Network. It probably explains why I think I never watched the later 3 seasons as a kid, because they weren't on Cartoon Network. Because I didn't really know what WB Kids was a thing. I'd be straight up honest with that. But I did watch like the later 3 seasons like in high school. But like, does this show still hold up? That's the question we're trying to answer here. First, let's go over the voice cast a bit. I will mention like other roles that I know the voice actors are doing. If I know them from anything else. First off is Bruce Wayne, played by Wano Murano, who also played Spider-Man in some video games like the PS1 game, and Spider-Man and Unlimited Spider-Man, which he also plays the Green Goblin in that show as well. Alfred is played by Alistair Duncan, who also plays Alfred in other Batman projects like The Long Halloween Part 1 and Part 2. Ethan Bennett is played by Stephen Harris. Ellen Yen is played by Mang Non Wen, who also played Mulan and Mulan related projects. The villains voice actors I would go over when the episode comes around, because I do feel like it's important to go over the villains voice actors as well. But like, to just do that all up front, we'd be in the voice acting section all day long. So, with that being said, let's start off with episode 1. We see Batman take down the crime boss, Wooten Fum. And like, that's a great introduction to the Batman, because we show like he strikes fear into the hearts of the criminals. And just a cool like little action sequence, and a good showcase of how like stunning the animation is. Honestly, because god dang, the animation's good in this show. And I like the bat suit. I really like the bat suit. I like the design of like Alfred and Bruce. But Alfred wants to celebrate Bruce being the Batman for 3 years, as Bruce wishes that his parents were still alive. Bruce does public appearances, like go to basketball games to make sure people don't suspect that he is the Batman. We cut to Chief Warhorse giving Ethan a new partner, Alan Yan. Going back to Bruce, we find out that he has a device that lets him know when crimes happen, called the Batwave. Next we see the Joker, who's played by Kevin Michael Richardson, who has a shit ton of words. It was very hard to pick. But to name a few, he played Shredder in the 2012 TMNT show. Blitzwolfer and Snail and Ben 10 Omnivores, Jabba the Hutt and a lot of Star Wars properties, including Star Wars The Clone Wars, and Atari from Super Robot Monkey Face Hyperforce Go! Wait, did I say team? I don't think I said team, so hold on. Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go. That was the show. It was a trip, from what I remember, but that's for another time. But we see the Joker release all the patients in one of the Arkham wings. Bruce leaves the game to go to Arkham. Joker blows up the bridge to Arkham with like a jack-in-a-box. Batman finds one of the guards with a smile on his face. Due to Joker gas. Batman finds out that the Joker doesn't wear makeup, it's all natural. And then Fight breaks out again. The animation is really good. 100%. Joker wants Arkham to be his own hideout. The Joker escapes as like Batman tries to stop what he thought was a bomb, but it was not a bomb, it was just a fake bomb, as people would say. I don't know what else you would call it, but you know, it is what that is. And then Ethan saw the Batman for the first time. Batman takes the guard to the Batcave to try and help him. Bruce needs some of the Joker gas to help kill the guard. And then we learn that Ethan and Bruce are BFFs, bro. Ever since high school. Ethan tells Bruce that he thinks that Batman does some good, but he needs to take it down because of the law. And then we see Batman figuring out where the Joker hideout is, and we learn that the Joker plans on gassing all of Gotham using like a hot air balloon full of Joker gas, and he wants to like ram it into a statue with a pony sword. But Batman stops the air balloon from popping, and the Batman uses like the Batboat to drag the balloon to the sea. If the Batman pops the balloon to give it Joker gas inside, even though you would think that would contaminate the water. Surprise, but hey, whatever.
He poisoned our water supply, burned our crops, and delivered a plague unto our houses!
Batman killed the guard and Joker found an email on Arkham. I think this is a very good episode. I mean, what better way of starting your new Batman series than using the Joker? I had to give major props to Kevin Michael Richardson for his way he acts as the Joker. I like how he voices him, and his inflections and all that stuff. Very well done. I had to give proper props to that because again, when people talk about the Joker, it's either Mark Hamill, Jack Nicholson, or Heath Ledger. In terms of positive, no one talks about like really woes. If they do, it's J-Lo saying that's shit. But like, I really have to give props to Kevin Michael Richardson for his work on the Joker. It was very well done. It definitely needs more love.
Near free, it's Permaclown.
Episode 2. We see a boy stealing a witch woman's necklace. Batman checks out the scene to see bull claws and feathers. Like to see the detective work. I really do. Ethan and Ellen lock in on him, but he escapes. The feather belongs to a rare kind of owl from China. Bruce holds a fun away, so we meet Oswald Cobblepot, voiced by Tom Kenny. You might know him from a little show called SpongeBob, when he voiced particular character SpongeBob. Raimundo from Challenge Showdown, Gibson from Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go, and Mambo Jumbo from Teen Titans. We also meet the Kabuki twins, which they don't speak. They're silent. Which I was like thought about. It's like if they have a voice, I'm not. I feel like all of it would be like one-liner type stuff. But then again, sometimes because later on, Joker gets like two goons, like henchmen. They don't speak, but they're hilarious. I love them. So, a character definitely does not need to speak for sure. Like, I was like, I did think about that a bit. I'm like, they don't speak at all, but if they don't need to. And I kind of, they don't need to, and it's still fine, it's still cool, it's still badass, you know what I mean? So, like, it's just something like, I would have never thought about that as a kid, you know, watching it, but they don't speak. And it's cool, you know? Alfred's grandfather used to be the butler of the Copperpots, and though obnoxious now as the world then, his words, not mine. Bruce tries to make up to the girl that Oswald tried to hit on, but like he freaked out. Bruce knows that even and Ellen are watching his house because of robberies. They go, hey, you know, you might be hit next. Bo attacks and tries to steal one of the earrings of the girl Bruce was talking to was wearing. Alfred tells Oswald that his name is not on the guest list. And if he wants to stay there, he needs to donate. After donating a wolf once, Oswald flees. Alfred thinks that Oswald stole his serving tray. Batman sees a lot of bows with jewelry, and like, you see the Kabuki twins at the end of the trail. So he's like, oh, it must be the Penguin. Alfred shows up at Copperpot Manor to get back his tray. Oswald used Bruce's guest list to rob people. Alfred gets kidnapped after Bruce caught him when he was trying to hide. Oswald wants to make the Copperpots rich again because they lost their fortune. Oswald was gonna have his boys eat Alfred, but Batman saves the day. Batman locked the Kabuki twins in a cage and drove away the boys with a bow whistle. Oswald wants to be called the Penguin now, even though I call him Penguin better ago. It's weird to just call him Oswald because so used to just be calling him the Penguin. And then Batman beats the Penguin, and we see the Kabuki twins escape. This episode ends with Ethan and Bruce playing basketball. I like this episode. I like, kind of like the gremlin voice that Tom Kenny gives the Penguin. I think that's very entertaining.
Make way, the Ozmeister is in the house.
Well, yeah, I like how sassy Alfred is. I mean, I love Alfred. I love Alfred as a character. Like, Alfred is fucking awesome. But I like how he like takes nothing from Penguin. He's like, I might be a butler, but I deserve respect. God damn it, and I love that. And I know we haven't been talking about Bruce a lot. So far, I think this Batman is kind of plain. Like, it hits the beats. There's not much depth to it yet. But, well, we're gonna move on to, like, episode 3. With that statement. Mob bosses have hired a mercenary to take the Batman down. Who's Bane, who's played by Joachim de Alaman, who plays Tai Long in Kung Fu Panda. Bane has these things on his body. That would explain if it's like Venom coursing for his Banes. I'm assuming it's Venom, because what else would it be? But they don't say it's Venom or whatnot, so I'm just gonna go with possibly Venom, or coursing to his veins to make him like Hulk out. Now, there's probably but one design I just straight out dislike. Like Bane on Hulk, like it's just cover head to toe. You don't really see any like details of his like body. And then like when he like hulks out, he like breaks through his costume. Not really the biggest fan. I know this might sound weird, but like I'm more bigger fan of like the Muchido Max for Bane, opposed to like I don't know, like covering the whole face. But that might just be me thing. I'm not the biggest fan of this design. And speaking of Bane in general, when we're on the topic, I'm not the biggest fan of this adaptation of Bane. Because this is like literally his one episode. You'd be like, really? Bane only gets one episode? But as well, he's in more episodes. But it's true. He cameos in 2. And that's kind of it. He doesn't get his own episode or anything like that. It's just like a body fight for like a cameo appearance. But this is like his one true episode. And I think they did Bane a disservice a bit. And, because there might be hints of Bane being intelligent, because Bane is very intelligent. He's a very intelligent character. But I feel like it's not really shown off. Like, you see, moving on, we see, like, a bit. I'm gonna go back. But, like, we see, like, Bane has a plan to, like, bait Batman out. But, like, it's not like, oh, I'm gonna break the Batman's back kind of plan. Like, the Dark Knight Rises, or Dark Knight Falls. Dark Knight Rises is a different mentality. But, like, is it Nightfall? I think it's Nightfall. I'm trying to remember the comic book's name. But I think it's Nightfall. When, like, Bane came out with this great plan to break the Batman. But, like, it's nothing like that. It doesn't need to be something as complicated like that. But, I would like to see more of, like, the brains of Bane instead of, like, the brute muscles of Bane. But anyways, moving on. Bruce is testing out, robot arm things. Guy mentioned that Alfred used to be in the military. Then, like I mentioned before, Bane baits out, Batman, with robbing an armored truck. Bane is too strong for Batman to handle. Bane thinks he's killed the Batman. Of course, Batman's alive, but is seriously injured. Batman's trying his best not to be seen by Ethan and Ellen as, Alfred picks him up from the scene of the crime. Batman doesn't want to go to the hospital, and after seeing the cops being all around hospitals, Alfred agrees. Alfred gets flashbacks of picking up Bruce after his parents' death, which was a fantastic scene. You see, like, Bruce playing with his mother's pose, and, like, the last, like, pole hits is, like, a gunshot. I think that was very well done. Now Bane is just stealing shit. The police thinks the Batman is no more. Bruce is still injured after 3 weeks of trying to recover. Alfred thinks it's time to hang up the cape. After threatening to quit, Alfred helps Bruce build the Batbot. The reason why Alfred wanted to quit because he goes like, I can't stand you seeing yourself get injured. Bane is robbing a bank as Alan tries to stop him, but she fails. Batman's running for Batbot to fight Bane, and like Bane's tanking up for Batbot, and Batman wins by shocking Bane with wiles. This episode's fine. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Bane in this series. I'm just not. Like, sure, you can, like, make Bane brute force and all that stuff, but I really feel like they didn't show off the strengths of Bane in this adaptation, which is a shame. But I like this episode for giving Alfred more depth in terms of, like, he just doesn't want to see Bruce hurt. I think it's very touching. And Alfred's already humanized, but give him more humanization. It's very good. So that's kind of what saves this episode is Alfred. Episode 4, we see Catwoman, voiced by Gina Gilshawn, steering a Druid Lion, and failed. Hideo Kasuni's the person that Catwoman tried to rob the night before, and a person of interest that Bruce is looking into. Hero wants his man to find and kill Catwoman. We see Selina kind of talking to her cats, telling them that she's in fact the Catwoman. Catwoman is interested in Batman and plays chase with him. Batman is tracking Catwoman with a remote control Batwing. Catwoman beats Batman and takes his utility belt, but the safety lock broke when Batman fell during the chase. Catwoman's trying to give a remote control Batwing to work, but is activating everything in the Batcave, including the Batball, the Batmobile, with those two things only. Catwoman's using the remote control Batwing to steal the True Line, but he'll catches from Bat. Catwoman's flying ninjas, and Daniel knows she was stealing from a Yakuza.
Believe it!
Maybe you should have done your research into who you're robbing. Catwoman gave Batman back his utility belt. Batman and Catwoman fought together. Catwoman broke the line to save Batman, and turns out there's a GameCube disc inside the line that contains a list of crimes on it. And the police now think Batman and Catwoman are working together. This episode's good. I like this episode. I like the dynamic between Batman and Catwoman. And first of all, I love Catwoman's design in the show. Very good. And I think this is like the first episode. I'm like, okay, this Batman really shines a lot. That's very positive for your Batman show to have Batman shine. I'm just saying. That's very good. So there's that. Starting off with the next episode, episode 5. Batman's being chased by the police, but he got away. Ethan and Ellen follow some bats to Wayne Industries. The police tells Bruce that they want to look around because of the lead on the Batman. Ethan seems to be scared of bats. The bats belong to Kurt Landstrong, voiced by Pierre McNicol, who also played the Mad Hatter in the Arkham games, Chronos, and Justice League Unlimited, and Cindy Poindexter and Danny Phantom. Didn't realize he also played Mad Hatter, which is a shame. Oh, shame on me, Will, because we were just playing the Arkham games, and then as soon as I read that online, doing my research of these videos, I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely the same voice actor. Kurt is using the bats to study sonar. Ethan and Ellen question Kurt, and after they left, Bruce is mad at Kurt for not updating him on his research, and Kurt is trying to help his niece with his research because she's deaf, and that's the explanation he gives Bruce. Bruce finds out that Kurt is lying about his research after visiting his niece. Oh, is it really his niece? I don't know. We just know that he was lying about her being deaf. Because Bruce comes along with like a box to give her hearing aids and like doing sign language and stuff. Which is very thoughtful of Bruce. See, I like these little moments. It's like Bruce is actually like trying to help people and he's a caring person. But like, I'm just questioning who this little girl is. Like, whether she's actually related to Armstrong or not. Then again, I hope she is, because that'd be weird if he just has a random picture of a girl on his decks. So, I think it's actually his niece. He just thought about her being deaf. And then Kurt turns himself into the Man-Bat, because he just wants to be feared. He wants to be the creature of the night. Bruce locks Man-Bat in the freezer, but he escapes. Man-Bat is draining the blood venomous of the zoo. Batman catches up to Man-Bat, and he transforms back into Kurt. If Kurt takes the Man-Bat formula 2 more times, he will forever be the Man-Bat. Batman stops him from taking the second dose. Kurt gets in his second dose due to Ellen and Ethan getting in the way. Ellen sees Kurt transform into the Man-Bat, but the Man-Bat takes Ethan away. Ethan just walked on the scene. He got carried away. He didn't take the person who just saw you transform. Okay, so Batman puts a track over Man-Bat and tracks him into the sewers. Batman uses sound to mess up Man-Bat's sonar, and then like Man-Bat de-transforms back into Kurt, and Kurt gets arrested. And like Bruce cleans up Kurt's lab, so the police can't investigate it. It's gone. Oh, they're gone. I think this is a good episode. I really like the Man-Bat's design. I think it's very good. Again, I think this is a nice episode to humanize Bruce a bit more. And I think this episode also solidifies Bruce and Ethan's friendship a bit. Just seeing them bounce off each other a bit more. Because I think this episode, before we get to our season finale, is for most of those to interact in an episode, so that's very important to see. For show. Episode 6. We see Mr. Freeze played by Clancy Brown, who also plays Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob. Lex Luthor in many different things like the DCAU. In this show he reprises as well, which is very cool. And all of them, Super Robo Monkey Team Hyperforce Go. And we see Mr. Freeze like the Titanic, because he uses an iceberg to steal jewels from rich people on the ship. Alfred wants Batman to take a vacation, but duty calls. Batman uses the infrared to track down Mr. Freeze's ice footprints. Mr. Freeze is robbing a jewelry store. Batman catches up to Freeze and mentions that Mr. Freeze mentions that I've met before. Batman knows that Freeze is Victor Freeze after breaking his hammer and saying, you should be dead. And then Mr. Freeze freezes Batman and then explains his origin, about how he was a bank robber. But during a chase with the Batman, he went into a Quanjack lab, which shame on the police for not locking that shit up. For just letting anyone walk into your Quanjack lab. Actually, no, if it crashed into the building. Never mind, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you lock it, if it crashed into the building. I take everything back. I'm sorry, police of the Quanjack lab. Freeze traps himself in a Quanjack machine and gets turned to Mr. Freeze. For police save Batman from being killed, Batman escapes before he gets unmasked by the police. Bruce wants to hang up the cow after he gets a fever and feels guilty about killing Mr. Freeze. He has a dream of his parents dying, and he thinks what if Mr. Freeze is akin to my parents killed to someone, And that gave Batman his flying spirit back. Alfred made a co-resistance bat suit. Batman fights Mr. Freeze with explosive. He also has skis and heat armor. Batman hits Mr. Freeze with a flamethrower. And then his car. Batman uses his engine to heat up Mr. Freeze. This episode's okay. Mr. Freeze being a jewel thief is fine. I know people are probably like, well, no. This show probably wanted to, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that the show wanted to differentiate itself from the Batman animated series that came before. So they then used the backstory that show came up with Noah and all that shit. Which is fine and understandable when you're trying to make your own show, your own continuity. You want to separate yourself, I get it. But it's not the most enticing. But again, this is another good episode to humanize Bruce by showing okay, this is why I became the Batman, so no one else would be an 8-year-old boy who lost both their parents in an alley. So I think that's very important and good. Episode 7, we see the Batman checking out break-in, but involves someone using heat to break in. As Alfred tells him he has a meeting with the mirror in the morning. Batman meets Firefly, played by Jason Marsden, who also plays Chester McBadbat from Fair All Parents, Chase Young from Challenge Showdown, and Gil from Sack Shop. Firefly has a jetpack, and Batman damages one of his heat lasers, causing it to go wild. Firefly gets away. The next morning, Bruce meets with a male played by Adam West, past Batman from the 60s show. But it's nice to them to be like, Easter egg, Adam West, haha. The military expert have the city council wants to give a contract to expand the children's hospital to a different company because of Bruce's public image. Bruce wants to argue for the contract, but he has to be there on time. Alfred is researching the other company while Batman goes after the Firefly. Batman brings his jetpack this time. Batman gets shot down by Firefly, and due to Bruce being late, due to him being unconscious, due to him being shot down, the council goes with our company Bruce wants to give up being Bruce or Batman, but learns the lesson that Batman can help Bruce and Bruce can help Batman. After figuring out that Firefly is working for the company, so he sets a trap. He baits Firefly out, and then Batman has like an improved jetpack to take on Firefly. A chase happens. Firefly does damage to Batman's jetpack, so Batman does the same to him, and a bat beats a Firefly in a fistfight. Fun fact. And Bruce gets the contract to the company after it came to life that Firefly was working for the company. This episode's good. I like this episode a lot because, again, it gives more humanized Bruce a lot more, because we learn that why Bruce wants this a lot is because he wants to live up to his father's image, and this is something that, like, the Children's Hospital is something his Wayne Foundation has done, and I think specifically his father too. So of course he wants to do good by his father in that regard. But Firefly's a fun villain, just neat design and all that stuff. So yeah, moving on to episode 8. Starts off with a TV personality be kidnapped by little people. Next we see Bruce pretending to listen to someone playing the violin, and then the next act gets kidnapped via piano, who will fall piano trap. The kidnappers escape during a chase with the Batman. For people who were kidnapped, worked on a show called Think, Thank, Funk. After notice of the show and that there was a scandal, Artie Brown was on Think, Thank, Funk and lost after a 12 week winning streak, and then lost back like 30 years ago. And but he got a shit ton of candy bars as a consolation prize. Artie sued because he called foul, but the case was dismissed because the producers had money. Money talks, baby. The girl Artie lost to is now a chess player and gets kidnapped. Batman finds the kidnappers but fails to stop them. Artie is the Clue Master, played by Glenn Shadix, who also played the Mayor of Halloween Tom from Nightmare Before Christmas, and Brain and Monsieur Mahala from Teen Titans. Clue Master wants a rematch of the trivia game of Think, Thank, Funk. If he wins, the people who he kidnapped would get a free acid bath. Artie's base is in his mother's home. The Clue Master has gotten fat, presumably off of his year's supply of candy bars. But Batman's like flying the Clue minions and was able to defeat them. The Clue Master won the rematch, but the Batman comes in. The Clue Master's like, "Hey, Batman, you get one question. Ask anything." And Batman's like, "Anything?" Yeah, he goes like, "Yeah, anything." Because like anything, like current events. He's like, "Yes, anything." He goes like, "Who's the Batman?" The Clue Master's like, "Fuck, you should have thought about that one." The Clue Master tries to kill the people he kidnapped anyways, but Batman stopped him. And Batman beats Clue Master with a good tripping trick. This episode's good. I like how they go like, "Oh, the Clue Master never grew up." But like also it's like, "Oh, Bruce, you grew up too fast." And like the episode end with like Bruce playing a game with Alfred to like try to like relive his childhood a bit, which I think is a nice message. But I think for my I'm gonna take back what I was about to say. I do like this episode. I like the message of like never growing up and growing up too fast can both be bad. Like Audie's mom just seems like she's dead inside because her son had a bright future and he threw all that away just for revenge, and she just seems dead inside. Now, but like episode 9, Scarface and Ventriloquist, played by Dan Castellaneta, who also played Genie in MA Project where Robin Williams doesn't play him. So like Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar, for needs parts for heavy machinery for something. The Don't call Scarface a dummy, or you might end up sliced meat. Alfred is setting up a dating profile for Bruce. Batman's trying to stop Scarface from stealing something from the Space and Airplane Museum. Gotta get that Scarface reference and say hello to little friend. I like how Batman looks at Ventriloquist like, Willie, you just made your puppet hit me as like Scarface like slapping Batman about. That was funny. I really loved that. Scarface escapes after trapping Batman, like about to get his head cut off by like airplane propellers, and Batman escapes that. Batman gets a hit on his dating profile. Scarface just needs one more part for his plan. Batman's finding Scarface like in like a tech building machine, like factory place, and like Scarface gets flying on a barrel belt, and he gets Anakin, aka he gets a bunch of parts added to him, like Anakin in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And then Scarface escapes with Ventriloquist, but the henchmen they had were tied up and all that stuff. The plan was to build a giant Scarface robot to rob the Federal Reserve. Batman figured out that the Ventriloquist has space personalities, and thus, two personalities come out, like Scarface and himself as Ventriloquist. Giant Scarface has a built-in forklift. It's not gonna show gold. Batman fights the giant Scarface. Scarface gets hit by a train, and as he's about to die, he gets caught Ventriloquist dummy, which also made me laugh. Alfred has to tell Bruce Estate that he couldn't make it. I like this episode. This is the one episode that made me laugh out loud a lot. So it was funny. It was very funny. So props, way props, and I love the design of Scarface a lot. Very good. So episode 10, Joker turned the judge that sentenced him to Arkham into a playing card. The Joker drives away with the judge, and Batman gives chase. Joker used Ode to lose the Batman. Arkham says Joker has been there all night, and Batman thinks Joker is going to kidnap 51 more people to make a third deck. Batman's flying the Joker and his old higher, and the Joker has a poker stick of doom. The Joker is really a fake. The fake Joker is God of Arkham Asylum, so that's how, Joker was available whole night and all that jazz. It gets turned into a card due to the card-turning gun he has blowing up in his face because Joker wanted to turn him into a card. Batman goes to Arkham to question the Joker. Ellen and Ethan gets invited to the Palace Theater by the Joker. Joker gasses Batman and escapes his cell. A guard sees Batman in Joker's cell. Batman pretends to be the Joker with wigs and makeup Joker had in his cell. And the police thinks, oh, Joker's in his cell. What do you call us? The guard opens the door and Batman escapes as he locks the guard in the cell. The Joker has trapped many people to the floor of the Palace Theater using sticky glue, to probably represent the many solar spills in the theater to make the floor sticky. It wouldn't surprise me. The Joker wants revenge, so he turns people into cars and then throws them into the lake. Ellen gets turned into a car. Batman saves the judge that got turned to a car in the beginning of the episode. Batman fights the Joker, and at the end of the fight, Joker accidentally gets turned to a car. I think this episode is good. I mean, any episode with Joker so far has been very enjoyable. Definitely one of my favorite Joker lines. Batman is coming to visit him. He goes, "Wow, that was indecent." Very good. But with that being said, moving on to episode 11. Birds are stealing money for the Penguin, and then Batman shows up. Batman and the Penguin fight, and then the Kabuki twins show up and let the Penguin get away. The Penguin wants to rob Bruce Wayne after seeing a reporter would be following him around all day. The reporter has apparently had a history of sharing too much of a person's life. The Penguin shows up at Wayne Manor, And, you know, you gotta cut off the power before you warp someone. Don't want people calling people. Penguin's waiting for Bruce to come home as he tears up Wayne and warping him. Penguin calls Bruce from Alfred's phone. RuPaul goes to Wayne Manor after Bruce leaves her. Batman shows up over Wayne Manor. Batman and Penguin fight. Batman gets knocked out. Alfred saves Batman before he gets unmaxed. Alfred destroys RuPaul's tape of tonight's events as Batman and Penguin fight out. Batman beats Penguin, and this is where Batman gets the Dark Knight name, because RuPaul comes up with it. RuPaul thinks Bruce is Batman, but Alfred shows up in the Batman costume. RuPaul now cares more about the Penguin than Bruce. This episode's okay. I feel like this episode was a bit too similar to the first Penguin episode. It just felt very similar to me. But one of the saving graces for me, in terms of, it made me laugh a lot, is that like when RuPaul saw Alfred as Batman, it's just like, you know, so I couldn't wait to see features and stuff. But like later on, when like RuPaul leaves and stuff, everyone leaves, you see Alfred in like the costume. It made me laugh. Hilarious. But yeah, this episode gives me a bit of deja vu from the first episode that Penguin appeared in. So it's just kind of like, I felt like I saw this before. It's enough different, but it doesn't, that feeling isn't too strong, but it also kind of feels that way too. But yeah, moving on to the season finale. Episode 12 and 13. It's a two-part, so I'm combining the two. The Joker's warping a bank with two goons and his Joker party, which allows him to change the shape and properties of something, like to make it bouncy, of whatever he like sprays the Joker party on. I honestly forgot Chief Warhorse was a thing when I was like watching it. I was like, oh yeah, you haven't been around, Warhorse. I completely forgot. Gotham is now ranked the scariest city in the world. Warhorse says that he has a zero-tolerance policy against Batman and his villains, which is how's that different from anything before? Okay, you know, well, he even suggests to work with the Batman, but Warhorse isn't a fan of that idea. Joker is changing the face of a statue and his image as his henchmen fight Batman. Ethan's going to try to prove his loyalty to the police by getting the Batman. I like how Joker's like genuinely upset that like Ethan is going after the Batman before him. The Joker got away because Ethan got in the way. Ethan is like falling to his doom, but Alan and Batman save him. Bruce wants to tell Ethan that he is Batman because he feels like, hey, you know, circumstances are gonna cause us to hurt each other. Like, I need to tell him that I am Batman. Warhorse is very close to take Ethan's badge because he goes like, yeah, you're not getting shit done like you should be. Bruce is about to tell Ethan that he's Batman, but the Joker strikes if they both want to separate to fight crime. Ethan handcuffed Joker but gets kidnapped. Joker's trying to give Ethan one bad day to break him mentally. We see Alan took care of the goons, and we see that Joker broke Ethan mentally with like after a trippy dream sequence type stuff. Alan's there to save Ethan. Batman saves Ethan from getting a face full of Joker pie, but the Joker pie gets inhaled by Ethan after like it broke and turned to like gas and just sniffed it. Batman chases the Joker, and the girl House of Mirrors cliche. Batman knocks out the Joker, and Alan lets Batman go because he saved Ethan. Warhorse suspends Ethan because the Batman escaped. Ethan now is the Clayface. Ethan is rightfully freaking out that he's now just randomly a clay monster and is trying to get help, but no one can understand him. Which confused me because, like, I could understand him. But, like, apparently he wasn't speaking in a way that people could understand, but it wasn't really done well because I could hear words coming out of Clayface. It's like, you can't understand him? Oh. And it took me a bit. That's one thing I don't think that this show really did poorly on, because there's a huge disconnect. I'm like, I hear words, understandable words coming from Clayface's mouth, and no one can understand him. But like the police tries to like kill Clayface by using water, but it just like flushes him down in the sewer. Clayface attacks Warhorse as Batman like is there to save Warhorse. Clayface can harm his body and change his body's shape. Batman is analyzing some of Clayface's clay that he left behind. As he's doing that, Clayface is able to change back to even get his voice back. So now people in universe can understand what he's saying. Ellen thinks something's up with Ethan after talking to him. Batman is thinking that Ethan is Clayface after seeing that Clay has human DNA in it. Clayface kidnaps Warhorse. Ellen figures out that Ethan is Clayface too. Good detective work. I like to see that. Batman and Ellen are trying to talk to Ethan. Batman and Clayface fight, and Clayface escapes after he kind of has like, oh, what am I doing? It's wrong. So he goes away. Ellen lets Batman escape because Ellen now believes that Gotham needs the Batman. So Batman gives her a way to contact him. And this season finale ends with the whole Ellen and Bruce having coffee, and they see Ethan across the way. And a car passes by and he disappears. Go, James Franco. I really like this two-part. They couldn't give the rights to, I shouldn't say give the rights, but they couldn't use Two-Face because of Dark Knight being made at the time of this series being produced. If they couldn't use Two-Face, so they did Clayface, and I think they did this very well. I think they did a decent job setting up even as a character before this episode. They could have baked Ethan a bit more often in terms of like character and getting him like very familiar, friendly with Bruce, but it's still tragic because like this man was just down on his luck, and Joker was really the final push you need to just snap, and you really feel bad for the guy. So a very excellent finale for this season, but I have to say I really like the Batman season 1. I think it was an excellent season. I think not every villain's created equally, of course. I think, of course, the Joker, Penguin, Clayface are like top tier. Where you have stuff like freaking Bane. Really, Bane is, to me, unquestionably bottom tier of the villains. But most of them have done very well. The animation, again, is freaking phenomenon. I was very surprised how fluent everything felt while I was watching this. The theme was done by, like, The Edge. Excellent theme song. Phenomenal job. And, yeah, I had to say I really like the Batman. I would give the Batman Season 1 an 8 out of 10. So, I hope you all enjoyed this review. If you like the video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. But subscribe if you want to see more For What's reviews. And I'll see you on next time. Bye.